Hey everybody, this here is a Westinghouse model AT12-1 12-inch oscillating desk fan. And this one dates to probably around the late 60s, maybe even early 70s. I'm not entirely sure. Westinghouse did kind of mix and match parts, as you probably can tell. But yeah, these were very late. They were probably one of the last Westinghouse desk fans, like, in this style that were well built, like with all metal construction. Yeah, these are very good fans. They're made by Knapp-Monarch, I believe, manufactured by Knapp-Monarch, for Westinghouse. And there's some characteristics that kind of give that away that I'll get into as well. But first of all, the thing that you may notice is the most obvious is the blades are identical to the ones on the 12-inch LivelyAire series. As you can clearly see right here, they have the same brace blade or linked bladed design with these little wings in between the blades. This one, as you can see, has those same braced blades, and that was a design that came out first in 1954, I believe. It was the original plastic blade, actually, one of the very first plastic, I think, yeah, the very first plastic fan blade made for residential purpose. So, yeah, so this is a later version of that. It's not the same material. It's like it's more flexible than the earlier ones, so it's definitely a different material. And it's also white, not that dark beige as you saw. So this is the 12-inch model. Now, they also had 10-inch models and 16-inch models. Now, the 10-inch models had the same blades as the 10-inch LivelyAire series. This one right here, the plastic blades. And the 16-inch one had the same blade as the Westinghouse Standard series. Now, the 16-inch ones are really rare. I've only seen one of them. Only one of them has surfaced. It was on Facebook Marketplace a while ago. And it had the same blades and cage as, yeah, the Westinghouse Standard series, the 16 SD. And those had micarta blades, which was Westinghouse's, like, precursor to plastic. And, yeah, so those came a little bit before, which is weird because you'd think that if these came later, they'd be using the plastic blades. So I don't know. They might have used plastic blades in, like, the same shape as the micarta blades. I really don't know. Because, like I said, those are so rare. It might have been a home fabricated, who knows. But anyway, this fan I actually got quite a while ago. I got it back in 2021, last year, over the summer when I went over to Ohio to visit my friend. He got this one some time ago, I think. He'd had it for a while. He didn't need it anymore, so he gave it to me. And yeah, so it is in really good condition. It's just a few things. The cord has been replaced. He replaced the cord, actually. I don't know why. I think the original one may have been rotted or something like that. And the blades, there's supposed to be a center disc on the blades. Actually, here, I'll show you right here. This portion right here on the blade in the center, there's supposed to be a disc with, like, a peaked center there. That's missing on this one. And unfortunately, that's the case with many of these. That goes missing over the years. So, and you can also see another telltale sign that this is later is the Westinghouse logo on the front is the later W with the 3 dots at the top of each line of the W. The earlier ones was just a simple, like, block letter W, and the Westinghouse logo is in lowercase, which is also much later. So, I'm going to turn the fan to the side, and you can see here, these, the base itself is white, but the neck and motor housing are this really nice avocado green color. It's like a nice pastel green shade. It's really cool, really 60s, and I like that they carried that out until, like, the 70s when this design continued. So, if we look down here at the oscillator, you can see that it's got the like more exposed style oscillator mechanism, and it doesn't have a wheel like on the LivelyAire series. They just have a wheel like that at the bottom. This one has that sort of like crank with a little knob at the bottom. So it's not as nice looking in my opinion, and also a sign that Westinghouse was cost cutting in their later years of manufacturing desk fans. So, and you can also see the switches on top of the motor there, on the top of the back motor housing. And you can see the motor housing design at least, is very reminiscent of a Knapp-Monarch models from the 60s. So, that's part of the reason why I believe these were made by Knapp-Monarch. It looks very similar to that Kenmore, the Sears Kenmore that I used to have. Same with the oscillator mechanism. I think it was basically the exact same thing, except the knob in the bottom was a little bit different. Yeah, so it is 2-speed, just like the earlier 12-inch LivelyAires. So, let's go ahead and first move it back into frame and turn the fan on high. Now, it makes a little bit of noise at first, but once it gets going, it quiets down. Oh. Okay, that's that problem that it has that I forgot to mention because I didn't know it was going to happen, but for some reason, the way this oscillator mechanism works is it's got a crank and a knob with a little threaded stud piece that the knob screws into, and every so often that knob will screw itself tight onto the threaded piece, and because this design is a lot cheaper, there's no washer there for some reason. There really should be between the arm and the knob. It tightens itself down onto the arm and then gets stuck, so the inner mechanism inside the gearbox that's designed to keep the gears from stripping goes off, and it makes this click, click, click noise, which was a common issue with these, because I remember Esky Wolf's video where he had one of these. His did that exact same thing. So that was definitely a very common problem that these had, and definitely an issue of bad design. So let's try that again. Hopefully it won't do that. I'm just going to keep an eye on it here. So as you can hear, it does make a little bit of rattling. I think that's because there's a fair bit of play in the shaft. I think I need to get some washers, probably put some fiber washers in there that disintegrated over time. Probably need to replace those. But as you can hear, it is quieting down a little bit, so it does quiet itself down. And it isn't a very loud runner either. I did use this fan for a period of time in my bedroom last summer while I slept, so it is a really nice runner, good performing fan. Turn it to low. Spin it down now. The only real solution to that issue is if you don't want it on oscillating, you just unscrew the knob completely and leave the arm like dangling out. Although then the head moves around from vibrations. It's not the best spin down time, but I did oil it recently, so I think that's probably got better. So let's engage the oscillator. Now the good thing is that since it's not going to be rotating around on the point of the knob, it doesn't tighten itself down on, or it tightens itself down onto there, but it doesn't tighten itself down onto the central point of the crank so it doesn't get stuck. So let's start it up on low this time. I do think that the noise also has something to do with the gearbox, because you can hear when it's oscillating on low, it's perfectly silent. Except for a little bit of rattling, but yeah, this is a very, very good performing fan. I think it's just had a little bit of a rough life, honestly. Probably got used a lot. So I just realized I was blocking the light that entire time. High speed. Spin down from high. I want to block the light again. It's not a bad spin down time, actually. Yeah. It doesn't need to be oiled. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the up-close view, which there's not really much to show, but the logo there, the newer logo, Westinghouse, those braced blades with the missing center cap. Oh, and then the wing nut, or the nut for tightening the neck bracket, is this really nice looking, I think that, yeah, it's a hexagon. It's like a hexagonal shape here, which is really a nice touch. Motor housing again, which is the Knapp-Monarch style, and this, I don't know what happened there, must have been wall mounted for a little bit of time, because these are wall mounted. I'll show you the bottom now, actually, where you can see that hook for wall mounting. Now, I believe it did used to have feet on all four of those little feet, or the little tabs there, but they've gone missing. And here's the model information tag, which thankfully is still there. You can see model number AT12-1 and the electrical specs and others. And that's all there is. So, and you can see now the cord, it's missing the grommet that goes in there, but it is a replacement cord, as you can see. It's a newer. Okay. So that is about it for this video. I apologize it took me so long to make this video. Yeah, so that is the Westinghouse AT12-1 12-inch oscillating desk fan. Thank you for watching, and more to come.